Well, students, we're going to keep working on your cartoons today. If you have not finished doing the skin color, please remember that it's a two-color mix. So I'm going to take the darker one, which is this one, first, and I'm going to outline everything. I'm going to be careful not to cover up the marker. I'm going to press everything on really hard. So follow that around. Going around the eyes, nose, and mouth, around the hairline, all of that stuff so that it doesn't get covered up with color stick. Please do not forget to do your ears. And don't forget to do your neck. So those are all part of your skin tone. So we'll get that done. Once I've outlined everything hard, then I'm going to shade it in lightly so it'll mix with my lighter color. I'm going to take that. And this goes pretty fast. The outlining takes longer than this part, so I'm just going to take that and get this all filled in lightly. Then we'll take the lighter of the two colors and I'm going to press this on really hard. There have been some students telling me that they're done who just are coloring over it like this and mixing it, which is fine, but you can see I'm not pressing it on hard enough. So if you don't press it on hard enough, then I'm going to ask you to go back and color it again. That's really what is going to create the mix, is that pressure, and then that will also make it look almost more like a painting. The color is much more even. It looks a little bit more realistic as well. If you cover up a marker line, please don't trace it back on there with a marker. It'll ruin the marker. The color stick will kind of stick to the marker tip and it won't the marker won't work anymore. So if that happens, you can try to erase it, or we'll spend another time on these. So at the very end of working on these cartoons, I may give you a black colored pencil just to trace any of the black marker lines back in. So please do not retrace things with marker. So I'm almost done here. I could do a little bit of a better job, so I'm just trying to go fast for this video, but take your time, show your best. When all of the skin color is done, then you can work on the hair color, the eye color, the clothing color. And I do want you to do the same ideas of doing mixing. So here within the hair, I have to switch now. You'll have to get your crayons out because I don't have color sticks for all of the other parts. The color stick is really just for the skin tone. So here I can take a few different colors. So I'm going to take brown to start. And then since I do have a lighter brown, kind of this tan color, so I can take that to get a mix. And then I don't have a darker brown, so I could take this and put a little bit of black into it. If you're using black, you could do a little bit of a mix with brown and just press the black on harder, or do press the black on hard to get a good mix happening. So here you can see that's going to help create a little bit of shading of some different colors of brown. So let's just pretend I did the other side of the hair. You can always add a little bit of color to the eyebrows. That's why I left a little bit of white space. When you do the eye color, please make sure you're just doing the pupil, the inside part of the eye. And I am working on doing a mix too. So I'm just gonna work on the circle. The edges are gonna stay white. I'm gonna do a mix of 2 different blues. Just doing the inside part of the eye there. And if you do need to brush any of this off, just be careful not to smear it. These are his teeth, that's why I'm leaving it white, but some of you might have lips that you need to do. After I have all of that done, then I am gonna start working on the clothing. I want him to have a gray shirt on underneath. So here I'm gonna do a little bit of gray and I'm gonna mix that with a little bit of white. And since it's a West Ottawa sweatshirt, West Ottawa's colors are black and white, so I'll make it a black sweatshirt. I'm gonna mix that in. Do these edges too. I'm not gonna color his whole sweatshirt right now, just because I want you guys to have more work time, but black and gray mix well, so I think I'm gonna do a black sweatshirt. And I'm gonna leave these ties, these strings, white, so I'm gonna carefully go around those. Be careful if you're using black that's like the last color you used. Otherwise it can smear into all of the lighter colors, so I'm trying to make sure this doesn't touch any of my background stuff. I might have to brush it off to make sure the black doesn't smear into my green grass and stuff. So I've colored part of this. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of gray, and then I'm probably gonna put a little more black on top just to get a good mix and get it pressed on well. So here, make this part black too. And then we'll blend this in with a little bit of gray to make sure that there aren't a bunch of white spots of the paper still showing. So still use some pressure. If you were doing like a blue sweatshirt, do like 2 different blues, or if you're doing a green shirt, do 2 different greens. So blending that stuff in, we'll make this just a lighter gray, so it's not all the same. And then I can always come back, make it a little bit darker in some of these areas. So let's just pretend that that's done. Most of the next time we're gonna be working on background, so please don't feel like you need to get it all colored. But if you do get all of this done, then I can start working on the background. And I typically will make this stuff I am gonna do some shading of like outlining stuff, making it look a little bit darker. But I am gonna have the background be a little bit lighter than the cartoon to kind of fade it in to the background, so the cartoon is the focal point. And then the stuff in the background is a little bit lighter, kind of fades off into the distance. So I'll do more of this next week. One thing I wanna show here is that if I do green grass, I don't want it to all be the same green. So here, I don't have a darker green than this. So if I take green and I mix it with blue, that will give it the appearance that it's a much darker green. So mixing blue and green makes it much darker. Same thing if I do like green and yellow, it'll make a much lighter green. So here, that's gonna make that hill darker. And then this will be a lighter green. And then I'm gonna use this green for the field. So then I'm not gonna end up all with the same green. Being careful too that this green doesn't touch any of my black. And I double lined these lines, so those lines can stay white like lines that are painted on a real field. And then I'd work on probably the goalpost. Most goalposts are white, but give it a little bit of gray just so it doesn't look like I forgot to color it. this just a little bit of color behind the net. And since I have so much green, I should definitely pick some different things for the things that are around it. So I would do maybe a red and orange color for my water cooler here. Get that to mix. And then I can think about some of these details and decide what kind of color I'm going to do for the sky color. Is it going to be like a stormy dark blue with some grays and blacks, or is it going to be like a sunset sunrise sort of scenario? So you can figure out what you want to do there. So I got a lot left to color, but I do want you to still think about doing some mixes in the background and giving it lots of different color to make your details stand out to help tell your story. So, all right, let's have fun working on these. We will work more on them next time, so don't feel like you need to get all the way done. The main idea is to get the portrait finished today.